Hey everyone, Cool Kid here, and welcome back to Accolade Acquisitions, a supplementary series I'm doing showing how to get each Accolade glyph against the Fragmented One. This episode is going to be about Gauss, who I think is honestly really good for this boss fight. His abilities offer him a lot of value in this fight, and he's just really good with a lot of weapon types, so it makes him a very solid all-rounder. So, looking at my build for Gauss, this isn't super different from what I normally use, but there are some major changes. So I'm investing very heavily into duration, which isn't super surprising considering all of Redline's stats scale with duration, and then I also have a decent amount of strength, and that's for thermal transfer. So I mentioned in a lot of these videos that heat is really good against this boss. Because of the consolidation mechanic that refreshes the timer of all existing heat stacks when a new one is applied, you're able to snowball your damage over a really long period of time. So I'm actually not planning on using the blast portion of this buff, but instead primarily the heat portion of this buff, so that I can use it for heat damage and heat scaling. And then we've got your energy max, and the range honestly is mostly just in case I need this to clear out ads and whatnot. And then the sprint stats because, like, it's Gauss. And then in terms of shards, I've got 4 Tau Forged ability duration, and 1 max energy filled on spawn. That's just a comfort thing, you really don't need it. So, my strategy with Gauss is going to be a little different than what I've done in this series so far, so I'm going to be using both the Sybaris and the Sancti Magistar. I did say in the Vauban episode I was probably going to use just the regular Magistar, but I switched to Sancti because it has twice the base status chance, and that's going to be relevant for the heat procs that I want to inflict with it. So the idea is, we use Sybaris when I can't go in on the boss with a slam, like it's doing an unsafe attack or something, but if I can go in on the boss, then we resort to the Magistar. So, the Sybaris setup is kind of what you probably expect from this series at this point. We have a lot of base damage, just to make sure that I don't go without. Honestly, there's probably value in swapping some of this stuff around, but I think it's good to have a lot of redundancy as a just in case. And then we've got multi-shot, a lot of crit stats, and a lot of heat. This is going to be kind of in the same vein. We're trying to contribute to the heat as much as possible with this strategy, just to keep the procs rolling and keep their damage up. And then in terms of perks, we have Blazing Barrel, Marksman's Hand, and Survivor's Edge. The Cycron, I'm not going to go into depth like I did in the Vauban video. This is basically just an ad clear weapon. I'm showing it just in case I need to use it. Sancti Magistar is our main weapon when it comes to slams, and they're quite good against the boss, just kinda in general. So we have on our heat damage, Galvanized Reflex for the initial combo, base damage, critical stats, Galvanized Elementalist for proc damage and status chance, and then Seismic Wave for slam damage. Slam damage as a stat is multiplicative with base damage, so it's very good to have. I also have on Duplicate because I don't want, oftentimes I'll use Exposure, but I don't want Exposure to skew my proc weighting because my status chance won't be super high, so I'm using Duplicate. It honestly probably isn't going to be super helpful because my crit chance is quite high, but I went ahead and put it up there as maybe it'll benefit me from time to time. And then in terms of stats, for the Incarnate evolutions, we've got Edge of Justice, Seismic Slam, and Critical Parallel. Truth be told, you could also probably go ahead and take Subtle Force. With a strategy like this, that'd probably be safer for Duplicate. I think we're going to switch to that just to kind of see how it goes. I haven't tested it this way, but why not? So, Zeneric is primarily here because I don't want to crutch on Vazarin for this series. And then our companion is Worm. Honestly, this is completely unnecessary on Gauss. Negate is helpful, but a lot of that for me is going to come from my 2, so I'm not really going to need to rely on it. And then Tenacious Bond is helpful for the crit damage bonus, Reinforced Bond is complete overkill, but it is funny, and Primed Regen for the faster respawn on my Sentinel. Truth be told, also Prime Laser Rifle is used to get over the Tenacious Bond threshold. Truth be told, you can run plenty of companions here. I do recommend robots, or specifically sentinels, over beasts, because the beasts are prone to wandering off and dying, but generally speaking, you can really use whatever you want here. So, Gauss has some really big advantages in this fight. His passive essentially gives him the max shield recharge delay for free if he keeps it up. His 1 is good for moving in and out, if you, for this strategy, if you slam with the Magistar, you can kind of truncate the animation, the recovery frames, by sprinting, so you can get away from the boss much faster. The 2 generates energy. It allows you to absorb like 90% of the damage in this game because almost every attack that an enemy has is going to be one of the damage types it blocks. There are some boss attacks that deal radiation, there are shock Eximus, like there's some considerations there, but really you don't have to worry about it. Thermal Sunder is good for clearing out like adds if they get too close to you, but there's also the fact that we're going to be using it for thermal transfer primarily, and then Redline is just a crazy ability by itself. You know, attack speed, reload speed, fire rate, cast speed, all of those stats are going to be helpful, you know, kind of no matter how you slice it. Like I said with Reinforced Bond, it's going to be total overkill in the fire rate department, but I do think it's funny, so I'm still going to use it. So yeah, that's the rundown for the setup. I'll see you in the boss fight. Okay, I'm going into this with kind of low battery, which is a bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. So, obviously the slam weapon efficacy is quite high, and yeah, this doesn't even look like a lever action on Gauss. It genuinely just becomes fully automatic. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I want to make sure I refresh that real quick. I should have most of my stacks of stuff ready. I am going to lose battery because I have to sit through this, so that's kind of annoying, but it's not the end of the world, I don't think. Okay, so like I said, my goal is to just kind of like use slams if the attack permits, and then yeah, like if I can't, like now, because it's really dangerous to get close to the boss, we'll just do that. Ooh, I don't know if I have the height for this. Nope, I do not. Okay, fortunately, I was able to bring that back. But, yeah, I, tried to, hold on, I want to recast that real quick, actually, because I didn't have concentration ready. But I tried to fully jump over that, and I forgot that I got what I think is the hardest arena for this boss, the pit. And in the pit, there is a ceiling. Oh shit, he hit me with his arm swipe. Dude, I'm just fucking throwing right now. Hold on. It's time to lock in. My bad. My bad. Okay. I didn't have my... Maybe... This is just not my run, dude. This is just not my run. Not even just with all of the, nullifications I've taken, but I also had an Eximus unit that I really do not want to see. Shock Eximus. That didn't stun him. That was weird. Okay, hold up. I don't think I activated concentration, but I really just do not have the energy to cast that again, so we're not going to. Let's hope that once I can get access to my, you know, to the Fragmented Tide for like easy stack generation in the second phase. Ooh, that was really close to fucking me up. I almost got hit by that. It's okay, though. I am locking in, as the kids might say. Let me get my heat bonus back. I realized that I had let that expire. It's not the end of the world now that the boss is burrowing, though, because he'll clear the status effects. But, yeah, this is, we're off to a rough start. I'll put it that way. We're off to a very rough start, and that's entirely my fault. That's just me playing incompetently and getting very greedy. Won't deny that. I could probably try and slam the boss here, but the sparks are really scary, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just, yeah, kind of work my way around. The sparks linger for a little bit after the attack ends. Go in for a slam. I think I'm good to just go in for a couple slams here, actually. Okay, much better second half of the boss than first. He's going to emerge from his burrow in a second, but he's just delaying the inevitable. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we can go ahead and speed run to extract, considering that we're playing Gauss. Yeah, really bad first phase, but that was entirely me being an idiot. Sorry to everyone who's mad that I didn't pick up that ribbon sliver. I really don't need them. But yeah, that's a completed run on Gauss, scuffed as it was. Hopefully you can see the vision sort of with the blended strategy of the gun for when I can't slam, and then the slam when the boss is free to do so. So yeah, that's the completed run for Gauss. Let me know in the comments if this video helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one.